Today I want to talk to you about the different types of narration.
Every moment is a teachable moment.
So a lot of times I have people who think that narration is a particular style of narration. Mostly when I say they want to do narration, voiceover, they think of documentary style or something that they might see on television on the Discovery Channel or National Geographic, or maybe even in-show narration. There's so much more to narration voiceover than just the documentary or in-show narration. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the different styles of narration. You should know that narration is a longer format voiceover, so that it typically is longer than 30 or 60 seconds, which is your traditional commercial. So narration can be anything over a minute, and then depending on the style of narration, can be up to, I'm going to say, about 1 to 4 minutes, unless you might be talking about e-learning. And e-learning can have longer narration formats because it depends on what it is that you're teaching for e-learning. Within narration, there is documentary narration, and that is something that most people, as I mentioned before, see on the Discovery Channel, National Geographic, and that typically is somebody that is narrating under a video in support of a video that they're watching on television. And it is a longer form of narration that can go on for maybe 20, 30 minutes to an hour. And it really is complementing the visual. And then you might have another style of narration, which is corporate narration. And corporate narration for me is anything that is not a commercial, but something that is between 1 minute and about 4 minutes long that could exist on a company website or on a company YouTube channel. And that in particular is going to be talking about a company's products, services, or brand. And the content might be talking about maybe corporate responsibility, or what the company's doing philanthropically, or how the company is responsible. And maybe it will have some HR outreach, like this is a great company to work for. And that is classified as corporate narration. That is a very large market because you've got as many opportunities as you do companies. And in the United States, there's 33.2 million registered companies with the SBA. And those are just the ones that are registered. So they all have a product or a service or a brand that they want to talk about. So that is corporate narration. And then you have corporate explainers. And a lot of times people will ask me, what's the difference between corporate narration and corporate explainers? Explainers traditionally was something that was a little bit shorter than, let's say, your traditional corporate narration, and it was something that was often done with computer animation. And it had a very particular style when it first came out, and it was very commercial-like, kind of like, meet Joe. Joe has this problem, and then introducing a solution. And then ultimately at the very end of it, it will kind of wrap it all up in a nice commercial-like tagline. And those can be anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes. A lot of times you can really tell which ones are corporate explainers because they will be done using computer animation. Now, not all of them have to be done with computer animation, but the majority of them are. Now, corporate explainers can also be teaching something, which is why it's called corporate explainer. But the explainer might be how a product works. It might be a little more in depth. It might be almost in the corporate training or the corporate e-learning realm. But the ultimate goal is to sell the product. So you need this product. You didn't know you needed it, but here's how it works. And then all of a sudden you realize, now that you've listened to the corporate explainer, that, wow, that's going to really solve all of your problems. So there still is, for the most part, for a corporate explainer, there's a lot of sell in the back end of that. And also there is, in the form of narration genre, is medical narration. And that can be educational, and it can also be more corporate. And that can be, again, something that is over a minute long, because anything that's 15 to 30 to 60 seconds would be classified under commercial. Anything longer than that will probably be considered narration. Depending on the focus, if it's a company that's trying to sell a medical device, that would be kind of classified under medical corporate. Or it could be medical education, where you could be teaching someone how a surgical procedure goes, or how to do a surgical procedure. Or it could be a medical animation, so that you'll see You'll see how something works, or maybe how the cells interact in the body, and the narrator will be talking about that over the video. There's one last narration that I put in the category, and that is telephony. And that can be telephony where you've got a menu where you're instructing somebody how to get through the phone system. I'm sure you're all very familiar with yelling at the phone when you're trying to get a live person on the other end of that. But that is also considered narration, and more instructional directions on, press 1 for sales, press 2 for this, press 3 for that. And then ultimately there's something else called on hold, which I don't always consider to be narration, but sometimes I classify it there. On hold messages are those messages that you hear when you call up a company and the music is playing, and then it's almost like a commercial. Hey, did you know we offer this, this, this? And they're little tiny tidbits of little commercials that play in between the music. And so that can also be considered, because there's multiple little tiny on-hold messages within the telephone system for a particular company. That's also considered to be narration. For more information, make sure to check out my videos here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.